Very important, again, in terms of energy levels. Okay, if you try and exercise and you don't have much carbohydrates in you, you will feel it, okay? It will not let you do what you would like to do in the gym.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, reason number 2 why these high protein diets may ultimately fail you is that when you think about what helps us in terms of our water balance and water retention, carbohydrates are the best source for helping us to retain our water. Okay, so when we eat carbohydrates, they actually help our muscles and our body tissue to retain water, which is very helpful for preventing dehydration. Okay,
Okay.
so high protein diets and or high fat diets inevitably lead to low water intake unless you make a conscious effort to get at least 8 good glasses of water per day. Okay, and if you drink sodas and those types of things with caffeine, that just makes the situation a little worse.
So then would that reflect in a lower body weight? So it'll look like you're losing weight, but you're really not. You've just lost water.
It's quite possible that that will happen, and then
Okay.
there's a few other events that take place
Uh-huh.
which kind of augment that and complement that process,
Okay.
which then will create true weight loss on this program.
Okay.
All right, now number 3, and this is probably one of the big mechanisms when you look at high protein diets, is that when you have lots of protein in your diet and low carbohydrates, what will happen is your body will begin to break down muscle tissue, and not just muscle tissue, but tissue from all your body cells. So that includes your organs. And by breaking it down, what it actually is attempting to do is to create blood sugar. It's trying to create carbohydrate out of your muscle protein.
Wow. So if we're not giving the carbohydrates to our body, it's going to find
Your
them.
body
It's going to make it.
will make it. Yeah.
Wow.
And that just tells you right there
That's
that
scary.
your body needs it.
Wow.
Okay, because it will create it if it doesn't get enough. Okay, and so by breaking down muscle tissue, lo and behold, we start to see weight loss occur. Okay, because the
Okay.
breakdown of lean muscle tissue, which is not what we want. We
Right.
don't want to lose lean muscle tissue.
Right.
We want to lose fat.
Right.
Okay, and so you will see some of that occur.
Wow.
And that occurs significantly more during the early process of weight loss than the later process.
Okay. There's a name for that, isn't it?
Actually, it's a process whereby your muscles attempting to create glucose.
Uh-huh.
So what it's called is gluconeogenesis.
Oh, wow. Okay. Never mind.
Genesis being the beginning or the creation
Okay. Gotcha.
of glucose.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a big name.
Yeah. and then so to complement this process, what you also get then is that you will have the inefficient breakdown of fats in your body.
Okay.
And that creates a condition known as ketosis.
Okay. That's the one I
So
was
you
thinking
have
about.
ketosis,
Okay.
which is the other process.
Wow.
And by breaking down this fat inefficiently, what that basically creates is a toxic effect in the body. Ketones are not what the body really wants to use for energy, but it has to
Wow.
in the absence of adequate carbohydrate.
Wow.
So your brain and other organs will use ketones to function.
Okay.
So your body's creating glucose and it's using ketones.
Wow.
Okay, these are
Okay.
two processes that would not occur in the presence of adequate carbohydrate.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. That's important to note.
so you have those things, and so inevitably weight loss will occur. It has to happen if these processes take place. Now, the proponents of high protein diets would say that this is desirable. This is a process that you want to happen.
Wow.
But I would disagree, and I think that the research would also support that that's not what you want to happen.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you lose weight in the short term, and let me get to number 4 here. You lose the weight short term, but then guess what? You have done something that you wouldn't ordinarily do on a daily basis to create this weight loss. So the question is, and this is why the 4th reason why these diets ultimately fail you, is that you basically are sacrificing good, sound eating habits, good, sound dietary practices for the sake of weight loss. So when you lose the weight and now you need to come off of it, what are you going to do now?
Right.
So are we going to revert back to those unhealthy habits? Most people do because they haven't really learned how to eat well.
Right, right. And we've talked about that before with the quick weight loss diets.
Exactly right.
Try to do things and have a pattern that is something you can maintain every day.
And here's my last reason why your high protein diets will ultimately fail you. Basically, your body, and I mentioned earlier, it thrives on carbohydrates. It functions so much better when we have carbs present in our body tissue. And so by depleting it or by getting very low amounts, when we begin to, let's say we get to the end of that 12-week period or that 8-week period where we're on this diet, now we're having to learn to eat a different way. Well, now at this point, your body, when carbohydrates are introduced back into your diet, your body is going to soak it up like a sponge. Okay, and that's what's called carbohydrate supercompensation.
Wow.
So your body's been in a depleted state so long that when you give it any carbohydrate, it's going to suck it up. Okay, and not only that, but if you've been eating lower calories, it will also retain calories.
Right.
Because your body's goal ultimately is to keep you alive, whether we want, whether we do the right things or not.
Yeah, our body's main goal is
Yeah.
not to keep us skinny.
Exactly
it's just
right.
to keep us alive.
Our
That's
body,
important.
It'll do anything it can to keep us alive, and that's the good thing about how we were created.
Yeah.
And so it just creates these processes, and it just keeps on doing what it has to do to
Right.
keep us alive.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. Well, Charles, thank you. Charles, our in-house expert. Some of that stuff, is a little heavy, but, just remember, it's not that we're not saying don't do that. We're saying if you do, make sure you're doing it with a professional, a physician, a very
absolutely.
highly trained trainer,
Yes.
very carefully, and you can get more information on that. There's an awesome article on our website called High Protein Diets, How Much is Too Much, and that's on the blog, toogoodhealthllc.com/blog. We invite your thoughts and questions and feedback all the time. Join us again next Saturday morning at 10:30 on WIMO AM 1300 radio, as we'll be discussing tips for creating positive wellness. And also, the following Saturday, I'm really excited. We're going to have a show called Extremes in Fitness. We're going to have our very own Dottie Kaufman here, as she has just been doing great at being more fit and losing weight and getting in shape. And then we're also going to have a friend of ours who's a bodybuilder, and talking with him about, his fitness and just the two extremes, an average, everyday kind of gal like Dottie and this bodybuilder, and how they stay fit and well. So thank you for listening. We thank our sponsors, Brad Aikens YMCA in Winder and SNBF.com, Supernatural Bodybuilding and Fitness. And we look forward to talking with you next week here on WIMO Radio, 1300 AM, WIMOradio.com. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.